The relationship between the head coach and the quarterback is probably the most important relationship on a National Football League team. They need to be in sync. They need to be compatico, even if the head coach comes from a defensive background. Now, last 4 years, Kirk Cousins, Mike Zimmer, maybe not so much. I absolutely love how cute and quaint it was when Zimmer came out and talked about, hey, we're watching film now. It only took you 4 years. What, you want, a cookie? Congratulations on doing what you've been supposed to do. But I digress. But either way, the Cousins-Zimmer relationship, they were never really on the same page. Maybe Zimmer didn't want Kirk in the first place. It is what it is. And also, it really goes back to that sideline shove. Maybe there was a little bit of stank there, man. I don't know. But Kevin O'Connell coming in has worked with Kirk Cousins before. Back in the day. In fact, KOC was Kirk Cousins' quarterback's coach, OC in 2017, his final year in Washington before he got paid by the Vikings. So technically, Kevin O'Connell is to blame for all the Kirk Cousins contract snafus. But Kevin O'Connell, doing the rounds, was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, and he hyped up his guy. He hyped up Kirk Cousins. McAfee getting after, man. Two handsome-looking dudes, and A.J. Hawk, former Badger. Wait, no, former Packer. Close enough. I don't care. He's Ohio State. The pride of Ohio State. Also stupid Badger. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it when it was him and Clay Matthews in Green Bay. Get the hell out of here. Looking like Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. It was a great movie, by the way. Anyway, Kevin O'Connell was hyping him up. Pat McAfee asked him, was like, hey, Kirk Cousins is there. Was that a selling piece of taking the job? You worked with him before, blah, blah, blah. This is what Kevin O'Connell said. It was for me. Part of the selling point of taking the Vikings job, Kirk Cousins being there. Just because I know how hard it is to play in this league. If your organization and team doesn't think they have a guy, a franchise quarterback, even though, I mean, Kevin O'Connell played for the Patriots, so maybe he's talking about his Jets years. I don't know. And that's what we're doing on a daily basis, putting together an offensive system to do what Kirk does well, but do what all of our guys do well. He's our leader. He's our trigger man. I think when you put together an offense, I mentioned my flaw as a quarterback, talking about his accuracy. Kirk does not have that. He doesn't have that problem. He's one of the more accurate passers I've ever been around. I think he's incredibly tough and durable, which doesn't get talked about enough. Guys like that are guys that are available and in the huddle every Sunday. That matters. And yes, Kirk Cousins' durability, knocking on all the wood, yeah, it has been impressive. He does not miss time with injury. He doesn't really get dinged up. He doesn't do this or doesn't do that. He's just Kirk. Like, even though he has taken a lot of punishment due to the Vikings offensive line since 2018, I mean, he takes a licking and keeps on ticking, man. He's like a Timex, the Timex Iron Man, $29.95 plus shipping and handling. And then I should work on what's the infomercial show? HVC? So I don't QVC. Nailed it. And yes, Kirk Cousins' accuracy, especially his deep ball accuracy, is one of the best in the league. That's why it's so frustrating when he had him in the last couple of years, just Charlie check down, just take what was there. Because I actually think that Kirk's former gunslinger mentality that's gotten him in trouble at times, but also has produced moments of brilliance, that just got worked out of him. Whether it's Zimmer just hammering him down, whether that's Clint Kubiak just phasing that out of the offense, he didn't unleash the fury as much as he should have last year. Kevin O'Connell continues, quote, and his experience level, he's played a ton of football. He's played in some different situations, some different offenses. But the one thing, he's had different offensive coordinator every single year he's been here with the Vikings, which is just insane, man. But the one thing we got Matthew Stafford in LA was football intelligence and football IQ. We took advantage of that where we could build something we didn't even know was possible in LA to try and take our offense to the next level, doing what he does best. We feel like Kirk is like that as well, where we can use my previous experience with him, but also push him hopefully to new levels, where we can build a quarterback-friendly system. We feel very strongly about our offensive philosophy fitting a lot of different players. But when a guy can take ownership, I feel really good about Kirk as our quarterback. And I think that he's absolutely correct here, where you won a Super Bowl last year with Matthew Stafford. You put him in a favorable situation. You put him with the greatest offensive minds that he's ever worked with, in Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell, and it worked out. It's crazy because the knock on Stafford for years was that, hey, he was a hollow stat stuffing quarterback and never won a playoff game, never did this, never did that. It sort of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Even though Kirky has a playoff win notch on his belt. I think that the Vikings, the offense, I mean, with all the weapons and pieces there, I think they certainly can get things done because you've seen that the offense hasn't had major overhaul changes. They didn't get rid of Dalvin. They didn't get rid of Thielen. In fact, they had a de facto extension for Thielen. Justin Jefferson is going to be the best wide receiver in the National Football League. KJ is there. Offensive line, you have two great bookend tackles. Ezra's coming along very nicely. You need to figure things out at center and right guard, and hopefully Jesse Davis and Chris Reed can do some of that as well as in the draft. So I think that the Vikings offense is like this close. Like we're 1 degree short of boiling, and Kevin O'Connell can be that degree. And I do believe Kevin O'Connell when he's saying that Kirk Cousins can be that guy, that has shown by the faith of extending him on that 1-year deal. So Quasi and Kevin O'Connell are essentially tying their short-term future and their job security to Kirk Cousins. And I do believe Kevin O'Connell when he says that, hey, we could do like what we did in LA with Matthew Stafford with Kirk Cousins. I firmly believe it, man, because I don't know. Like, we haven't known Kevin O'Connell that long, but I feel like he's very straightforward. I feel like there isn't a lot of games. I feel like there isn't a lot of gamesmanship going on behind some lies trying to push buttons. I think that he just wants to coach a good football team, a good offense, and get the quarterback on the right page. So that's gonna be Kirk Cousins, man. So I'm hyped. I'm pretty excited, but of course this goes all out the window when they take Malik Willis at 12. I don't know. But let us know your thoughts and our thoughts. Kevin O'Connell hyping up Kirk Cousins on the Pat McAfee Show. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Must support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.